Hello, it's Jeannie. How are you? I hope you are doing well, staying well, and if you've been ill, I hope you are recovering quickly. So today's video is inspired by the fact that you all love this retro thing, this whole retro vibe, the 70s magazines, the Sears Christmas catalog from the 70s. And I do too. I find it thoroughly enjoying, and for me, it's a walk down memory lane and a part of my life that I really, really treasure. And I was very blessed in that I came from a household where I knew I was very loved, and my parents were a safe place for me. My home was a safe place for me, and they weren't perfect. They're normal, but I felt safe, loved, protected, and they had a sense of optimism about them, especially my dad. My mom did too, but my mom was very placid, very mild, very unflappable, unless I got her really mad, and I did a few times, and this mouth was, good at getting washed out with a bar of soap. It's true. So, but other than that, we had a really good childhood. And so I am going to take you back on a walk with me to the 60s. We kind of did the 70s. So I'm going to show you the 60s a little bit from my eyes and taking a walk down my memory lane. Before I show you these pictures, many of you asked, show us some pictures of you growing up. And so I'm going to show you. Stay tuned. We, as kids, were kept pretty insulated from the goings-on in the world. We didn't know or hear about violence, drugs, war, the Vietnam War, which was later in the late 60s and, early 70s. I remember seeing headlines in the newspaper once in a while, but it was not something my parents discussed over the dinner table or even with us. They never talked about these things. And they were very good about kind of keeping us sheltered from the news. And back then, the news wasn't as, they didn't glorify the negative things as much as they do now. It was really a different time. It was, and regardless of a newscaster's political leanings, the news was delivered very straight, very unbiased from what I remember. We had the Walter Cronkites, things like that, people like that. But anyway, I wasn't really exposed to much of what was going on in the world. And I'm grateful for that, for that little bit of insulation. So, anyway, I want to show you a few of these pictures of me growing up, and then I'm going to show you this. It is a Good Housekeeping magazine from 1962. So let's go back and look at some things. So I'm going to put in some pictures of me, and you can get a little bit of history through my eyes. So this first picture is my dad. And I love this picture because it really personifies him in every way. That dashing smile, he was so handsome. His risk-taking adventures, he was a skydiver, he raced Harley Davidsons for the motorcycle company, Harley Davidson. And, he just had this real joy of life. Every day was just joyful and exciting. Everybody wanted to be around him because he was just so much fun. And that's what my house was like growing up. When my dad was there, you knew it. He was singing, whistling, humming. There was laughter. He was just such a joyful human being. And I'll tell you something, his upbringing was anything but. It was difficult. It was hard as a kid in the 20s, through the Depression of a big, large family, and very strict parents. And I mean corporal punishment. When he did something that was perceived as bad, he had to go pick out a branch and bring it back to be beaten with. And he made the decision that he would not be like that when he was an adult and a parent. And he wasn't. He brought joy to our lives, and he was never, vindictive or mean. I'm not saying he didn't have a temper once in a while, and we talked about that with the anger video, but, he showed me that expressions of anger were normal. Sometimes just clean it up and move on and, just own it and make it better, be better. So I really learned that from him. And my cute little mom, just, like I said, she is just as steady goes. Just sweet, kind, gentle, loving, even-tempered. She doesn't get riled up. She just, just is, just a Mother Teresa. And my dad here, in his Irish sweater, this is up in Mendocino. He was a big abalone diver, and I grew up on abalone. So, those are great memories too. And this is my OTB grandma, off the boat, Irish grandma. Look at her. Is she just the cutest or what? And then here's my brother and I, and again, this is in the, I don't know how old I am here, but, it's in the very early 60s. And growing up, this is outside of our house, and if you look at my legs, they're like tree stumps. They're almost as big as my own mom's legs. And my brother Brian, and he and I were so close. This is me, and I'll tell you something about this picture. I used to have pin curls put in my hair, with the bobby pins. Pin curls, not fun, but, that's how I got this Shirley Temple look. But do you see that little scar on my cheek under my right eye? I remember what happened there. I was bit by a dog, a Australian Shepherd up at my aunt's house, who we used to stay with. And this dog, his name was Joe. I got too close, I grabbed at his face, and he bit me. So, and I remember this, and I'm not even 2 years old here. I think I'm like maybe 18 months. This is one of my earliest memories. And here's my cute little brother in his sailor outfit. he was very much like my mom, very even-tempered, very placid. I was more fiery for sure. I was, yeah, that's a good description, fiery. And my father used to fly, and he was into aerobatics, and so we often went to various air shows. This was in Watsonville one year. And here I am, probably in the mid to late 60s, I'd say. And let me tell you something, I still remember this top. I just thought this was the grooviest top ever. And yeah, so there I am, clearly before braces. And here is our family, my dad, my brother Brian, me, and my little brother Ben, and Mama Dog. And Mama Dog was a dog who was a stray. We only took in strays, of course. And Mama Dog was a male, but we called him Mama Dog. And I think this dog bit every kid in the neighborhood. He was just the meanest little guy, and everybody knew he would bite, but they would try and pet him, and he'd snap at him. It was just a weird thing. Mama Dog bit. This is kind of me in my teens, definitely in the 70s. And it is in my brother's room, and this was a typical Friday or Saturday night. Friends would come over, and we'd sit around and listen to music. This is a friend of ours playing his guitar, and as you can see, Led Zeppelin and Kiss, and, this was my concert-going time. And we just saw everybody at, at Oakland Coliseum, Days on the Green, San Francisco, Winterland. And so, then the 80s were really about kids, raising kids. And then I started kind of going, I think this is in the 90s, going to Germany. This is with our German friends. We started traveling a lot more and going to Europe, and which was its own, fun time. And I'm not going to go into my travel photos right now, but those are just a few of, the memories that I was quickly able to show you from an album that I had on hand. So, anyway, I will try to find some from high school. I really don't know where they are. They're somewhere. So, anyway, what you think of that? So, before I get going into this Good Housekeeping magazine from December of 1962, and it was 50 cents, by the way. And I think because this was kind of a large edition, 50 cents was a lot for a magazine. Normally they were 25 to 35 cents, but I think because this was a big Christmas edition, it was more money. So we're going to look through that. Yesterday, I just want to tell you, I was dragging and tired because I had been up late reading. And when I get into a very good book, I can't put it down, even if I'm tired. I mean, it's like trying to, pin open my eyes to, I think I've only got, 6 more chapters. I can do it. I want to find out who did it. And I just finished this book. Oh my gosh. Every Little Sign by Michelle Pace. Now, I'm the kind of reader and watcher of mystery movies where I try to figure it out right away. We watch a lot of masterpiece theater shows, Foyle's War, Midsummer Murder, a lot of those, Grantchester, the cozy murders, they call them, or cozy mysteries, a lot of, PBS stuff, and I love it. I should say BBC. Anyway, I will, in the first 10 minutes, try to figure out who did it, and often it's like the innocent person, or I blurt out, he's the guilty one, he's the one who did it. And most of the time, I'm wrong. And I try to do that in this book as well. And I thought I had it figured out. I was completely wrong. And the twists and turns were just crazy and wonderful. So if you want a good mystery book, I should say kind of suspense, Every Little Sign by Michelle Pace, Pace. Oh, it's great reading. I couldn't put it down. So, Michelle, good job. And I want to review her book on as many sites as I can because it's just, it's that good. And I don't give out reviews easily. So, that is a thumbs up. Okay, so now let's get into this Good Housekeeping and go back into the 60s. Okay, so here we go. Good Housekeeping, December 1962, and 50 cents. See that? Christmas on every page. Okay, so let's start with this cool open out full color and Gifts by Schulten. Now, I don't know what that Schulten fragrances, and look, Old Spice. So did Schulten make Old Spice? I don't know. But very often, a woman's perfume set came with that talcum powder that was scented just like, the scent that you were buying. So you would put that on and then put your perfume on over it, or cologne, and hooey. So okay, Clairol Blue and Clairol Green shampoos. So I don't understand the blue and the green. Okay, Clairol Blue was for light, delicate blonde shades of lightened and toned hair, and the green was for red, brown, and black shades of tints. So I guess that's kind of like today with, gray or blonde hair. Sometimes I use a purple shampoo. So and then, now, something that I think the 60s and 70s somehow failed at was photographing food. Most of what they photographed is, in my opinion, revolting. So I'll show you. So look at these diapers, Curity Stretch Weave Gauze. I'm going to have to tell you, I never saw any diapers like that. They were just regular cloth diapers. I've never seen anything like that. Tide, improved. Okay, tapioca pudding, and I think we still have this out. I mean, I don't eat tapioca or use it, but okay, so this has, because it's a Christmas edition, it has, things, little crafts you can do. And they're advertising the Mutiny on the Bounty movie with, what was his name? Marlon Brando. Oh my gosh, right in front of me. Okay, now this. I want to tell you something. So here, let me get that right. So it says barometer dropping, go telephone shopping. So shop by phone. That was a new thing, kind of being able to call up a catalog company and put your order in. And they even, so you would put an order in and it could come COD, collect on delivery. So you young folks, I don't think would, and it's crazy, but there are young folks that follow me here like in their 20s, and I don't think you would know COD, collect on delivery, and you paid the postman what was due for your order. So when he came, you had to have the right amount of cash. And this is just a story about a couple of kids doing their Christmas shopping. The hidden cost of economy hams. I hope the lighting is good here for you. Look at this bottle of Listerine. I don't ever remember seeing anything like this. But I do remember Listerine being the foulest, most medicinal mouthwash. It stunk and it like peeled back your gums. And we always had some, I don't know why, but it was horrible, just horrible. This was before they came out with mint, I think. We just always had that gold-colored Listerine in a bathroom, cupboard, and it was awful. This is cute. Gift ideas for friends, dear but distant, for seniors, for teenagers, for bachelors, outdoor types, for readers and art lovers. So that's kind of a cool thing. So let's look at some of the gift ideas, say, for a teenager. Okay. Dress patterns, a cookbook, sets of plastic page protectors for school books, a personalized key to the front door, a pair of movie tickets, a box of favorite homemade candies or pastries, a deluxe hairbrush. I remember once getting a new hairbrush and it was yellow with black bristles, and it was the first kind of like, half circle brush I had ever gotten, and I loved that. Interesting. A security chain. That's cute. Okay. Automatic toothbrush. You turned it on and it just vibrated. Elna sewing machines. That was a good brand. Oh, cars. Oh, okay. I love these things. Meet America's most considerate husband. You know why? See this iron? He's wearing a self-ironing cotton shirt, so his wife doesn't have to do as much ironing. What a guy. And I love this ad. This woman is at the store, the department store, picking out an electric blanket. And here's the salesman. And here she is dressed up. She's got her gloves on, her hat on, full makeup. This reminds me when we would go out somewhere. We couldn't go in shorts and flip-flops. We had to be presentable. You didn't just wear what you were wearing to go somewhere. You had to, get dressed. And, if it was like a store, or we didn't go to restaurants, but just going out somewhere shopping, you just didn't look like a little scalawag. You had to be kind of put together. Well, that's what my parents insisted on. Okay, dishwashers. So, yes, there were dishwashers in the 60s, and they were pretty new, but they weren't built in. They were on wheels. And there were hoses behind here that you hooked up to the sink, and it drained, and one drained into the sink. It was, kind of a big deal. Now, if you look at the size of this, your kitchen had to be big enough to have space for that. So, later, I remember when we first got our dishwasher, we had to give up a cabinet, and they were able to put it in, under the counter, but we lost a cabinet. So, but we never had the portable kind, but a few of my friends did. For the most part, into the late 70s, we did dishes by hand. We just did. Okay, different gift ideas. Oh, I just love these ads. See this? It's a girdle, and it has all kinds of, what do they call that, four-way control. And these straps here would hold up your nylons. So it was almost unheard of for a woman to wear a dress without a girdle. I remember my mom was tiny. I mean, you saw her pictures, she's tiny, but when she put a dress on and went out, she wore a girdle. Why? Okay, you know what I love about this? Okay, so it's for St. Joseph aspirin, and they were orange flavored, and they were 1/4 the dose of adult aspirin. But I'll tell you something. So we had this in our medicine cabinet, which was in the kitchen above the little island. One time, my mom left me and my brother with my dad, and she walked out the street and had some coffee with a neighbor. And while she was gone and my dad was distracted, I climbed up and found the bottle, because these little suckers tasted good. And I ate the entire bottle. I was probably 4, maybe. Well, my dad came in and saw me sitting on the counter. Maybe I was 4 or 5. I don't remember. And he knew, what I had done. And he asked me how many I had. And I don't know. All, the whole bottle. So he called my mom, and she came home, and they rushed me to the hospital, and they pumped my stomach. And oh my gosh, I remember this, being in the ER and them pumping my stomach, and then having to put in the charcoal to absorb whatever was left. And it was such a rotten experience, and I thought, all for eating something delicious, But see, that's the kind of kid I was. And they didn't have cupboard locks like they do now. Okay, look at this revolting meal. Eggs Boyardee. So it's scrambled eggs with this spaghetti sauce. And let me tell you, this stuff was thin and bland and just red, bland, blah, poured over the scrambled eggs. Okay, famous people, how they celebrate Christmas. Haley Mills, I liked Haley Mills. She was in what was that Twins movie? I can't remember, that I really liked. It was from the 50s or 60s. She played 2 parts of the twin, both of them. And I think they did a remake with that, what was her name? The redheaded girl. I can't remember. Anyway, somebody will tell me. You guys are good at that. Merv Griffin, Walter Cronkite. Dick Van Dyke, Lucille Ball, Bob Hope, how they all spent Christmas. You know, it's interesting because in this, there is no mention of Hanukkah or any other, kind of holiday other than the national holiday of Christmas. Diversity hadn't started in magazines in the 60s. Okay, TV dinners. Let me tell you, TV dinners. Now, next time it's frozen dinner, give it flair with cranberries. Cranberry sauce sliced here. TV dinners were they were just notoriously bad, but gosh, we loved them because it was a special event, and it usually meant my mom and dad were going out and we had a babysitter and we got to have these on a TV tray in front of the TV, which was something we weren't often allowed to do, eat out in the living room in front of the TV. Okay, macaroon cookies, Pendleton pajamas. I've been to the Pendleton store in Portland, Oregon, and I have the coyote video I did. I'm wearing a Pendleton jacket. I love Pendleton still to this day. It's great quality, so good wool. Okay. Let's talk about towels. I hope you can see that this towel, which comes in hand towel, bath towel, and washcloth sizes, it's thin and it's a little on the rougher side. Can you see that texture? And I tell you, to this day, I prefer a towel like this than the big, soft, fat, velvety, sheeny type towel. These little suckers were absorbent and they were great at, drying off. I love these. And even now, I hang our towels out to dry when it's warm enough because I like that rough, scratchy, thirsty towel. A big velour, soft, velvety towel does not absorb water well. I like that thinner, scratchier, rougher towel. And okay, the Young Wife's World. Just tips. Gerber baby foods. Okay, all right. I think out of all these magazines, I love the ads the best. So how do you fit a knit? Reduce your size with these electronic exercisers. If a figure problem dampens your zest for the latest fashion, don't despair. This remarkable machine reduces the size of select figure areas without diet or weight loss. You simply place the pads on the problem area and turn a dial for active muscle firming exercises. No diet, no exercise, just put on these pads and turn up the voltage. And perfumes, perfume soaps and talcum powder. Life cereal. Gosh, that hasn't changed at all. It says, with the most useful protein. I would like to know the carbohydrate and protein breakdown of that. That would be interesting. Okay, now here is a revolting looking cranberry cheesecake. And I shouldn't be too harsh. It's made by a teenager, so. Okay. A stove or oven that pulls out so you can clean it. A prayer for the first Sunday in Advent. And here we go into revolting food photos. Well, this isn't too bad. I mean, how revolting can bread be, ever? This looks like a shepherd's pie of some sort. Fluffy spoon bread, and what is this? Crab meat imperial. Okay, this is pretty standard, nothing too revolting here. Office party. You know, the interesting thing, why do I have this tab here? I don't remember. They have a lot of stories in magazines. You know, so this was, you know, if a woman paid 50 cents out of her shopping budget to get a magazine like this, it would last her, you know, a while. There are lots of stories in here for her to read. And I have not read them, so. Christmas scenes. The Christmas table. Nothing too unusual about that. Kind of celebrating the season. Ways to deck the table. It's funny, if you go to a thrift store, you see a lot of these things still. Oh, this makes me sad. It's fur. Fur was a sign of wealth and, you know, affluence. I had a rabbit coat in the, what was it, late 70s, I think. And it was a leather coat with rabbit fur collar. And later I had a full rabbit coat. Somebody gave it to me. It was used. And, you know, I don't know. I'm of the thinking we don't need fur, real fur. There's good synthetic stuff out there now. But back then, it wasn't, you know, an ethical issue. Okay, so cookie recipes and fruitcake recipes and all kinds of recipes. What the heck is that? Oh my God. It is a towering no-bake fruitcake. That looks good. You know, I don't know if they call this Stollen or not. Making a Stollen, you know, a German bread, what we called it anyway, on the, you know, holidays was normal. And now you don't see Stollen too much. Okay, I would eat all of these things. That's cute. Kind of dorky, but cute. Okay, mohair scarves. Right, more stories. Little homemade things you can make. You see these in magazines, like Good Housekeeping even now, kind of like a calendar of things you can do. Borrow the shimmer from a pearl for a gala evening glow. Cute dresses, and see how kids were kind of dressed up. I don't remember my brother getting this dressed up for much. Okay, here we come. Revolting food. Warning, warning. Look at this. Look at that. It's a glazed ham julienne. Ready to, I guess it's okay. But, God, they photographed things so ugly. The night before Christmas, to tell to the kids. Okay, look at those soups, Campbell's soups. This is green pea soup. It's a cheddar cheese soup, minestrone, and bean with bacon. Okay, this is when margarine kind of came into being, and my dad he would never allow margarine on our table, and my mom, thank God, never tried to push it. I remember trying it and just thinking, God, this stuff was awful. And maybe that's why I'm a butter snob even today, because I just love French butter and Danish. Okay. Spam. Now, my dad liked Spam because he used to get it in the army. They would give them a can of Spam and he would eat it. They open the can with a key. It came with a funny key, and he would open the can and he would just eat it out with a spoon. We never cared for it. Flour. Okay, Easy Off. They still have that today, the Easy Off spray for your ovens. Okay, look at this. Let's just glop mayonnaise onto a turkey fruit salad. Oh my gosh. Heat and massage unit. You just put it where it hurts. The thing about the 60s is, electronics were starting to kind of come into our lives, more and more and more. Marshmallow to make the best fudge. Oh, look at this camera. It's called a Flash Fun camera. It's a $10 value for only $5. I don't know if you can see this camera. Can you see that? Isn't that cool? Frozen coconut custard pie. The 60s, I don't think were known for their frozen foods, the frozen food quality. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'd have a slice of that. I have to admit, I would. Aunt Jemima pancakes. There was that jingle. Maybe you guys remember it. It was Aunt Jemima pancakes without the syrup is like the day without the sun. There's only one thing worse in this whole universe. That ain't no Aunt Jemima at all. I'll never forget that jingle. Cornbread. What I would say was very prominent in the 60s was things becoming supposedly easier for the homemaker in the kitchen, the housewife, more of these, packaged foods. Oh, look at these towels. These are my kind of towels. Not that color, but, I like those thin, rougher towels. Ugh. Shrimp orange walnut cocktail. I mean, it sounds good. Games. And they still have these Risk, Sorry, Monopoly. I don't remember Careers. I don't remember that. And look at this American Tourister luggage. We had a few pieces like this, and I used to think this round one was the coolest thing on the planet. This was designed by Oleg Cassini. But no wheels. You had to carry what was in your suitcase. Good coffee is like friendship, rich and warm and strong. But it doesn't say who the coffee company is. Interesting. Okay, dolls, all about dolls. Repair kits. Coca-Cola. Packaged foods, Duncan Hines. Mrs. Butterworth syrup, with real butter in it. Okay, those are not too bad looking. Look at that. They still sell yeast just like that. Not much has changed. See that? The yeast. Double fudge brownies. Oh my goodness, look at that. Bigelow brings you the Vac Master. Okay, a CoverGirl complexion so natural you can't believe it's makeup. Oh, look at the hairstyles. I tell you, I don't know that I could do any one of these hairstyles. That was the thing. You went to the beauty parlor, women, not kids, went to the beauty parlor like once a week. You just had your standing appointment, and you had your hair washed and dried and curled and pinned up in these beehive. My mom didn't. Only for fancy events or picture day. She was a teacher. If it was picture day, she might have her hair up from the beauty parlor. But you would see when a woman was starting to become due for her appointment because her hair was starting to get kind of ratty. And they only washed it once a week and did it once a week. Okay, here's sodium and fat controlled diets, things you can make. And here they've got a recipe for Stollens. Look at that individual Christmas Stollen. This was very common. All these purse, so we've got a wallet, a regular wallet, more of a change, smaller wallet, a cigarette holder and lighter, and a different kind of, like a billfold wallet, and then a glasses holder, and an elegant key guard. I mean, in what magazine do you see ceiling tiles other than like a home decorating, But that was not uncommon to put these, stick-on ceiling tiles onto your ceiling to update your house. Okay, this, I remember these things. We had something similar to this and this. Let me show you. And we put our TV on this when we used to have one of those great big console TVs with a record player in it and two big speakers on either side. And when you turned on the TV or any of it, it took time for all the tubes to warm up. So then, I think it was in the 70s, we got a smaller portable TV type thing, and we put it on this stand, and that's what was in the living room. Fruitcake. Q-tips. Girdles. Girdle, okay, here's what you would wear with pants, and see this here, these straps holding up the nylons. Advertising the CBS radio network. Okay, here are the nylons that those girdles would hold up with those straps. See, they only came thigh high. They didn't, that I know of, have pantyhose. Just these, thigh high stockings. More recipes. Dog food. Okay, the newest appliances and whatnot. Little portable electric, what do you call that? Like a little cooker, If you have, I guess, more guests than what your stovetop had room for. I remember these Sunbeam razors, electric razors for women. They didn't do a very good job. And this is a defroster. So you plug it in and you put this super hot thing, because your freezers would gather ice because the condensation inside of them just froze. And so you put that in there and it would heat everything up, and you have to clean it up, or you have to be there to wipe up the melting ice. Earning money from home. Okay. Panasonic. So here we go. Transistor radio. Oh, we had transistor radios. My brother and I, we had one, and we had to share it. And that was the coolest thing, and it was small. It was about like this big. And that was the coolest thing. Cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. Okay. Look at all these academies where you could send your kids. Boys, girls, specialty schools. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, a scale, because everybody had to have a good scale. Patterns for knitting. Okay, look at this underwear ad for men and boys. I mean, because that is just, look at this. Can you see that? This guy in his tidy whities. I mean, he's just as cool can be. He's ready to go scuba diving. He's got his sunglasses on and his white t-shirt and white underwear. Okay, that's a nice, healthy, ad. Oatmeal with bananas. That's what we grew up on and what I gave my kids as well. So, and then the back page, the greasy taste test, or the greasy food test, the woman wearing the glove. Look, no grease left. Crisco. Unretouched photos. Well, what did you think? Pretty interesting, isn't it? I love technology. Sometimes, most of the time, sometimes it drives me crazy and I have to work on anger issues around technology. But I loved the simpler times. I really did. And I miss them. Sometimes in the 70s, when I would want to meet with our group of friends, and we had a nice, wonderful gang that we all hung out together, maybe 6 or 8 of us. We didn't have cell phones or beepers or any way of communicating. We just took off, and somehow we found each other. We found each other. Now, of course, we were of driving age, but we would go by certain places that we all would hang out, the 7-Eleven or a Jack in the Box or, whatever. And then one would come, and then like a magnet, another would come and another. And pretty soon we had our group together and we made our plans and, went out on a Friday night, Saturday night. And something else I want to tell you. We used to go cruising and cruising. Now, what that meant for us in San Jose in the mid-70s was you drove downtown, 1st and 2nd Street, and you cruised this block, 2-3 blocks, and you'd go around and around and around. Some of you know this, but some of you younger generations may not understand this. Everybody had their windows down, they're blaring music. Guys go by in these, souped up muscle cars, and you make eyes at each other, and, so I think back, and I'm just, it drives me crazy even thinking about this. But it was all innocent. We would stand around we had our little spot on 1st Street, and me and other gals and guys, including my brother, who was 15 months older than me, would hang out, talking, joking, waving at people that cruised by that we knew. And sometimes, now listen to this, if a cute guy pulled over, it would not be unusual for one of us girls to jump in the car and cruise around for half an hour or so and just talk and listen to music, and then they drop you back off at your place on the street. And nothing bad happened. Nothing bad happened. We ended up making new friends and or figured out who we knew in common. It was just a common Friday night or Saturday night thing. You went cruising. And then after, we would sometimes go to, this was a little bit later, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, or The Song Remains the Same. They had midnight showings. And if I was with my brother, I had special approval with my parents. They would let me stay out with my brother. Typically, I had to be in, sooner than he did, which I thought was extremely unfair. But anyway, that was my, youth, my teenage time, and the best memories of my life in terms of just thinking back to a time that just brought me so much, that brings me just so much joy and fond memories. And every decade for me is fond and wonderful in its own way. The 60s were great in its own way, in their own way. The 70s, the 80s, having kids, and 90s, and, school, being involved with the kids' at school, room parent, PTA president, all the things around the kids was great. And then traveling. So, every decade has its own special warmth for me. So, that's a little bit more into my life. And I hope you enjoyed that. So, I'll find more pictures here and there and try to pull some out for you. And, maybe high school. So anyway, thanks for coming down memory lane with me. And I will sign off for now. I hope this was either entertaining or boring enough to help you relax and get to sleep or rest. So, for now, I bid you peace, wellness, love, light, health, and just a good world around you. Thank you for everything. Bye for now.